Hi everyone, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. Well, this is the first Easter project of 2021 that I'm bringing to you. Very excited for that. In this project, I'm making a box card and I'm using some beautiful metallic cardstocks that I got from CutCardStock. This is a project or a pattern that I got from Lori Whitlock. I couldn't find a tutorial on how to put this one together, so I decided to do this for you in case that you would like to try it as well. So let's begin. So to get started with this card, I wanted to show you all the beautiful cardstocks I'm going to use. So let's walk through these one at a time. These are Curious Metallics. This is called Ice Silver and is really pretty. They all are very pretty, but that white is really nice. This is called Rose Gold, and what gives them this shine is mica powders. This one is Electric Blue. The next one I'm going to show is a green. This is actually not Curious Metallic, it's Star Dream Metallic, another line, but it's very similar. And then we have Violet, which is back to the Curious Metallic, Iceberg, which is a light blue, and then finally, I think maybe my favorite is this Champagne. It's so rich and deep in color with that mica finish. I am also using another cardstock called Nina Classic Linen Gold Pearl, and it does have a little bit of a linen finish to it. It's hard to pick that up in the camera, but there is definitely a linen type finish to that one as opposed to the Curious Metallic, which is very smooth and shiny. And I'm going to use the Classic Linen Gold Pearl for my crate. So here are the pieces. This is a pattern piece from Lori Whitlock, and I cut it with my Silhouette Cameo 4. Everything cut out very easily, even though my cardstock is quite heavy at 110 pound. I just used that heavy cardstock setting in my Cameo 4, and it really cut everything very nicely. So we've got all the flowers, the greenery, and the crate, and the egg. So let's start by taking a look at the crate. See how pretty that is? I just wanted to show the shine and the luster to that cardstock, which again is that Nina Classic Linen Gold Pearl. Really elegant looking. Now I'm going to apply a stamp to this. This is an older one. I think it's called Hardwoods from Stampin' Up. So you might have that if you've been a long time Stampin' Up person. I want to put some wood grain into this crate, but it isn't long enough, the stamp isn't long enough to do the entire crate in one impression. So I'm going to divide it up in two, and I'm going to use StazOn Timber Brown for this. The reason I'm using StazOn is just so that it can dry quickly, because this is a pearlized finish, and a regular dye ink would dry, but it might take quite a while, so I didn't want to wait for that. I just decided to use StazOn. I had it a little bit wider on this end, and I'm going to put that first at the top because I've got that crate handle, which of course is wider than the rest of the crate section that I'm stamping. So I'll just apply some pressure to this. Now normally I would apply the paper to the larger stamp, but in this case, because I have to do the masking and everything, I'm going to apply it right to the cardstock. And it moved around a little on me. You might have noticed I was afraid I might have smeared it, but I got away with it. It did not smear. So whew, got lucky on that one. So now I'm going to apply the mask on top of the first section of stamping. And it's already dry, so I don't need to worry about any additional smearing. And I'm going to apply the second section. You'll see that I didn't quite get it all where the paper met there. But it's okay because when I fold it, you really don't notice that. Because it's a corner there, it sort of disappears, so not a big deal. Alright, now I'm going to work on my bigger flowers. This is the Flowers and Leaves Spellbinders Embossing folder. And these are the two flowers I'm going to put together and put on the front of my crate. So I'll just close that up and run it through my big shot. So here they are with the beautiful texture, and of course when they are texturized, this paper glows and shines even more because of the bumpy texture. So you can see again that gold and how pretty that is. This violetta, or violet I guess it's called, is really pretty as well. And I'm going to apply the violet bloom on top of the champagne, and I'll just use a piece of foam tape for that, just to get a little bit of lift and make the flower just slightly more dimensional. Then in the center I've got this stamen piece, and I cut this out of the ice silver. Now you could handle this a few different ways. You could leave this white, and then you could use ink to color the stamen that is standing up. I am going to actually use some glitter in the center of this, so I'm going to leave the standing stamen part white. And it kind of reminds me of a bottle top actually, once I turned those stamens up. Now I'm actually going to use art glitter glue for glitter. It doesn't happen very often, but in this case it is. I'm just applying a nice even coating of the glue, and then I'm going to apply some extra fine pink glitter. And once I've got that applied, I'm just going to let it dry. I'll set it aside and it'll be ready for me to use when I get to that point in the construction. Now I'm going to put together the other flowers. These are the white daisies, and they have the champagne centers. And I'm going to glue these flowers onto the greenery. Now this is a Basis brand green cardstock. It is the only piece that is not a metallic cardstock, so it is a little bit of a nice contrast in the card. And there doesn't seem to be any like perfect placement of these flowers. They are all pretty similar shapes in terms of the flowers. I really found that the best thing to do was just find one of the flower leaves and do my best to find a petal that fit that shape well. Now I'm going to work on the second section of the box card and these pink flowers. So it has the green stems that reach up into that flower blossom, and there are 3 of those, so I glued those together. And once that was done, then I could apply to the section here that goes into the box. So there's 2 flowers as well that I just glued straight on to the cardstock, and then the third flower, the larger one at the top, I put a piece of foam tape so it could stand up a little bit and add some dimension to the flowers. And it is ready now to go in our box card. On the right tab of this piece there is a 1 that is cut into it, so that signifies that it goes in the front. And then the other piece has a 2 cut into the tab, which signifies that it's in the back of this card. And then we've got to just put together the egg, which is really simple to do. Just a little glue and apply that on top of the main egg shape. I did get a little bit of seepage on the glue, and since this is a metallic cardstock, things like glue seepage will interfere with the pretty shine, so I just cleaned that up a little bit with my very well used tweezers. These guys have been with me a while, and you can tell. But I love them. They're my favorite ones. So now I'm going to put the box itself together. Very simple to do. Just fold them over, burnish the score lines that the Cameo will cut for you, and that includes the tab that is going to be used to glue the section together and create the rectangle shape. So once that's all done, just add a little glue to that tab and then attach them. What you'll want to make sure to do is that the bottom of your box is flush on both sides when you join them. Can't put it at the top, put it at the bottom. Just remember that the box has to sit on top of a surface, so that bottom box has to be all the same height. Otherwise you would have an odd and unsteady box sitting on a surface. So you see how that crate looks. Again, really pretty with the shine and the wood grain now as well. So the next step is to insert these flower arrangements in the box, and I had done this already. That's why you can see it looks a little jagged or rough on those tabs, because I had inserted it and then realized that I put it in the wrong place. I had put it at the bottom of the box because other pieces I've worked on do that, but this one actually needs to be at the top. You see, I'm pointing out, it needs to be about level with the hole in the handles there. And then it will fold nicely, but you can also still see all the greenery, nothing is getting blocked, and it's perfect. Next, we're going to put the section labeled 1, and we're going to put that so that the tab is flush against the beginning of, or the front of, the first group we put in. And this will also still fold really nice, and it gives us that extra dimension and layering that we're looking for in a box card. Just a few things left to do. I need to put on the egg embellishment, and I'm going to put it right here on these flower leaves, so it makes more sense to put the glue right onto the leaves rather than to the egg, and that way you don't have a lot of glue overage just sitting there not attached to anything. So it will look neater on the back because of that, so I would recommend that. And now I can work on the sentiment. This was heat embossed with white heat embossed powder on the Iceberg Curious Metallic. And I'm going to use another punch from Stampin' Up. This is a label punch, and I think you can still get this in their catalog. You could check that out. I really use it quite often. It's just a great size. Now this is that flower again. I'm going to use some art glitter glue to attach it to the front of the crate. I'm going to position it just a little bit underneath the egg, and I do want to point out that you need to make sure that the flower petals are flush with the bottom of the crate, otherwise they'll interfere with the crate when it sits. So there you go with that in place. I've put some foam tape now on the sentiment, and I'm going to attach that to the egg, but slightly move it to the right, and that way when it folds it won't interfere, it won't get too far to the left. And this is the way you want to fold it. Fold it to the right so that everything is in the center as far as all the greenery goes, and that will allow you to get it into an A2 envelope. Now you could do some further embellishment of this card, but I like it just the way it is, kind of clean and simple. It's very easy to put together. I hope that if you buy this pattern, this will help you put it together, because I don't believe that Lori Whitlock has a video of this one. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm so glad you stopped by to visit with me today, and I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please subscribe if you haven't already, and I've also included a few other videos that you might like if you enjoyed this one. Thanks again, and have a great day. I'll be back soon with another video.